Illinois, and Davenport, Iowa. Homes underwater in southwest Wisconsin.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert. Two important financial reports due out today, one from the Federal Reserve, the other from the FDIC on the failures last month of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. Reuters is reporting last year regulators were worried and issued warnings that smaller regional bank deposit balances were uninsured and vulnerable. The list is growing for the 2024 presidential candidates.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sat down with ABC's Lindsay Davis, speaking about his background in environmental law and why he thinks he can take on Biden.
I think I know more about how to fix regulatory agencies than any other politician in this country.
Author Marianne Williamson is also running for the Democratic nomination. As for Republicans, there are now 5 candidates, not including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis or former Vice President Mike Pence. They were expected to make their decisions by summer.
ABC's Andrea Fuji, you're listening to ABC News.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
WNBA star Brittany Griner broke her silence with the media on Thursday for the first time since she was released from nearly 10 months of detention in Russia.
Well, I can say for me, I'm never going overseas to play again unless I'm representing my country at the Olympics. You know, if I make that team, that would be the only time I would leave the U.S. soil, and that's just to represent the USA.
Griner said she will work to bring home other Americans held hostage or wrongfully detained. Big scholarships for a New Orleans high school senior.
Remember this name, Dennis Malik Barnes, because he'll probably be our boss one day. The 16-year-old senior has a 4.98 GPA and has already earned 27 college credits. And get this, he has received $9 million in scholarship offers from 125 schools. He says he loves home, but is excited about leaving New Orleans for his next chapter.
I would love to get out. I really would. I would love to see something new. This is why I've been born and raised so far. I would like to venture out and get new experiences.
Barnes plans to major in computer science and then go on to law school. Lionel Moise, ABC News.
Taiwan's defense ministry says China's military flew 38 fighter jets and other warplanes near the island Thursday, weeks after conducting military exercises earlier this month. China's military says it scrambled jets in response to U.S. Navy activity near the self-governing island claimed by Beijing. This is ABC News.
Here's a message just for the attorneys out there. So you passed the bar, joined a firm, or even built your own. Now are you finding out that you're doing more administration than actual law practice? Lexicon can help. Lexicon is a legal technology provider with over a decade of experience streamlining administrative tasks like timekeeping, billing, and more, so you can focus on maximizing billable hours and increasing client satisfaction. Call 855-4-LEXICON or visit lexiconservices.com/go to learn more.
I'm Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Does that old tractor or lawnmower have more electrical tape or duct tape holding it together than you want to admit? Well, maybe it's time to see Phil Sheehan and his staff at NC Tractor for a new Massey Ferguson tractor or mower. Massey Ferguson is a company that's been around for over 175 years. That says a lot about a company. And paired with Phil Sheehan, who's been in business for over 25 years, that says a lot about Phil and his staff. Knowledgeable about their product, and they stand behind every sale. Massey Ferguson is the last tractor you'll ever need. NC Tractor, a dependable and reliable company that'll be there after the sale. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
You're listening to WCAB. I'm Kevin Pleasant here in the Blue Room taking a look at your weather forecast. You can expect today to be mostly cloudy with some showers and isolated storms and a high near 67. Wind gust up to 16 miles per hour. Chance of precipitation 60%. And overnight partly cloudy with scattered showers. Lows around 52. Chance of precipitation 60%. This has been your weather forecast. Keep it tuned in to 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, Rutherfordton.
Welcome to All Things Rutherford, here on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB Rutherfordton. Now here's your host, Todd and Tracy.
Oh.
Good morning, Todd.
Morning. How are you?
I'm fabulous.
I was trying to think of what to say there. Glad you popped in and started.
The first thing to start off with is TGIF.
That's right. Finally, Friday Friends on this Friday morning, April the 28th. We're coming down to the last days here in April. We got, 2 more days?
Yeah.
Tomorrow and
if you've got,
Sunday.
as Jim used to always say, if you've got anything to do in April, you better get it done.
Better get it done by Monday because April will be going away 7 minutes after 7 o'clock. Tracy, here's one thing I'm certainly glad of.
What's that?
It's not raining.
Oh, tell me about it. And I wore little boots today, and I thought it was going to be raining again.
Goodness.
But thank goodness I can throw them across the road.
Our gutters backed up, and we had a little water come in the basement. 3 o'clock this morning, we're down there mopping water.
Oh no!
And I'm out there unstuck in a gutter with a garden rake duct taped to a broom handle.
Oh, I missed that, Todd.
You should have seen that. People on PA, some people rode by and saw me. So.
Yeah, it's a beautiful Friday morning. Thank goodness.
50, we are at 53 degrees, and it is clear skies. Sun's starting to come up. I'm going to dry up all this water so I can cut grass tomorrow.
Yeah.
Got these death announcements we need to get through. Gail Ann Stillman, 85, of Rutherfordton, passed away April the 24th. Services will be held tomorrow at 11 a.m. Groves Mortuary Crematory Services serving the family of Gail Stillman. Gloria Jean Jackson Manuel, age 87, of Forest City, passed away April 25th. Services will be held Saturday, May the 13th. Groves Mortuary serving the family of Gloria Manuel. Robert Ayers, age 80, of Cliffside, passed away Thursday, April 20th. Services will be held tomorrow at 12 p.m. Robert Morgan Funeral Home and Cremation Service of Bowling Springs, serving the family of Robert Ayers. Jed Doggett, age 59, passed away March 1st. Funeral services will be held tomorrow. McMahon's Funeral Home, serving the family of James Doggett. Elizabeth Ann Sparks Earls, age 86, passed away April 21st. Funeral services will be held to Saturday, April the 29th. That'll be tomorrow. Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside, serving the family of Lib Earls. Martha Romaine Flack Lovelace, age 93, passed away Monday. Funeral services will be held tomorrow. Groves Mortuary Crematory Services, serving the family of Martha Lovelace. Tracy James, age 54, Morrisboro, passed away Wednesday. Arrangements are incomplete. Will be announced later. The Pageant at King Mortuary, serving the family of Tracy James. You can hear the complete information on these obituaries later on this morning at 11:40 as part of the midday broadcast. Coming up, we've got Bill O'Reilly, and then we'll get started with our Friday morning call-around report, and we'll get you informed as well as entertained right here at WCAB AM 590, FM 100.9 in Rutherfordton. And here is Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, hey DirecTV viewers, Bill O'Reilly here, inviting you to watch the No Spin News on the First TV every night, 8 p.m. Eastern. The 2024 election coming up fast. Pundits parade from channel to channel, pushing nothing but speculation and their own partisan agenda. All that stops now with me, Bill O'Reilly, on the First TV. So please join me every night, 8 p.m. for the No Spin News on the First TV, DirecTV channel 347. On this Friday, it was simply stunning that President Biden told the world in his brief Wednesday press conference that 58% of Americans approve of the job he's doing. According to the latest CBS News poll out this week, 59% of those surveyed think the president is performing poorly. That might be because he is. So, where is Joe Biden getting his stats? Nowhere. That's where? President Biden, like so many Americans, believes what he wants to believe, and facts be damned. The border is secure, inflation transitory, Crime worse in Republican areas. He is not a big government spender. So many falsehoods, so little time. Some politicians contrive misleading statements, not Joe. He just reads what's put in front of him. Whatever you say, speechwriters, that's what I'll say. There is no search for truthfulness. Why bother with that? The media doesn't care about the truth, so why should the White House? We'll say anything we want and then have supper. So that's where we are in history. The federal government lives on Fantasy Island. It travels in another dimension. It bears false witness with no shame at all. And according to some polls, millions of Americans would vote for more of that. And that is the truth. Back after this. If you are a timeshare owner, you're probably upset that your yearly dues continue to increase. Lone Star Transfer guarantees the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and done in a specific time frame. They're the only company you can trust, having helped more than 18,000 owners legally and permanently get out. So please call Lone Star Transfer 855-551-7066 or visit LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
There was probably no more paradoxical character than George Armstrong Custer. He was always in the front of his troops in battle. Away from the battlefield, he was a strutting peacock. He would kill a man without a thought, but he would risk his life for a stray animal. He had a soft spot for Indians, but he would wipe out any Indian that stood in his way to glory. In addition to all of this, Custer had political ambitions, all the way up to the presidency. In 1876, Grant was president. He was a great military man, but a poor president. The Bureau of Indian Affairs was particularly corrupt, with Indian agents becoming wealthy from starving the Indians. Grant was Republican and Custer was Democrat, and there was no front runner to replace Grant. On the sly, Custer secretly sent dirt to Eastern reporters. The Democrats pressed for hearings on the Indian Affairs problem. Knowing that Custer was writing articles against Grant using a pseudonym, Custer was summoned to testify. Using the same tactics he used in battle, on April 18, Custer charged head-on into the fray. Custer not only answered questions, he elaborated, even to the point of indicting Oliver Grant, the president's brother. Although politics is war, it's a much more subtle war, and Custer was never known to be subtle. An angry President Grant relieved Custer of his command. Although Custer was able to beg and grovel before his superiors to get his command back, he surely learned that the Indians were easier to battle than politicians. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
"15 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday morning, April the 28th, getting started with our Saturday morning Friday morning call around report.
Lord help him.
Officer Sergeant Lieutenant King is with us, whatever moniker you want to put on there. Sergeant King, Officer King, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing today?
Doing pretty good. What's on the report for us this morning?
In the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Department responded to 196 calls for service. There were 8 arrests processed in the jail, and jail currently has 171 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, Christopher Ledford from Airwood Road in Rutherford reported a communicating threats, and a Stella Knob from Bentwood Drive in Forest City reported a financial card fraud. That's all for the incident reports. On our arrest reports, Antoine Mills from Hudlow Road in Union Mills was served with 2 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $2,000 secured bond. Jeremy Walters from Crowderry Road in Forest City was served with a warrant for assault on a female, received a domestic violence hold. Una Manion from South Hillside Street in Rutherford was served with a warrant for domestic violence protection order violation. Received a $5,000 unsecured bond. And Brianna Bradley from Lawing Road in Forest City was served with 5 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor and received a $2,500 secured bond. That's all we have for today.
Officer King, thanks so much for that report. Be safe.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye. Officer King with that report from the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department. Well, folks, I want you to go over to Duke Street in Forest City. I believe that's where it is, 181 Duke Street, and check out Cozy Home. That's what I want you to do. Mark your calendars, ladies. It's a Mother's Day extravaganza warehouse sale over at Cozy Home. That'll be next week, Thursday, May the 4th, from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m., Friday, May the 5th, from 10 until 4, and Saturday, 9 until 2. They've got a lot of sheet sets. Got to be careful how you say that. Assorted colors of designer towels, plush blankets, bathrobes, bed pillows, gorgeous new spring throw pillows. Even got some doggy beds. They have a perfect gift for mom. Cozy Home located at 181 Duke Street in Forest City, just beside Henson Building Supply. And if you've never been over there, that place is something else. You won't believe it when you walk in there, all the variety of stuff they have, everything they have. And you'll love it. I know you will. Go check it out. Cozy Home.
In honor of all those we've lost to cancer and those still fighting and thriving, like basketball analyst and cancer champion Dick Vitale.
I want to beat cancer. I'm going to beat it. That's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to win this battle.
Defeating cancer will take all of us. Join our team to help fund game-changing research that saves lives. At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over the odds. V is for victory over health disparities, victory over setbacks, victory over the unknown. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join the V Foundation team and help save lives.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
Coming up on 19 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock, Tina with us from 911 Communications Center. Tina, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on the report for this morning?
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County 911 Communications has processed 497 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 54 for EMS, 196 for the Sheriff's Office, 68 for Forest City, 61 for Rutherford, 2 for Lake Lure, and 56 for Spindale. Under fire calls, we had HUDLO respond to a motor vehicle accident. We had SDO respond to 2 motor vehicle accidents. We had SDO respond to a power line fire, and we had Spindale respond to an electrical fire, and that's all we had.
Tina, thanks so much for the report, and have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Tina with that report from 911 Communications. Atlanta Braves baseball yesterday afternoon, I do believe that was. Yes, it was. Game 4 of the series versus the Marlins. That was the final game, and the Marlins actually pulled that one out 5-4 over the Braves. Braves led that series 3-0, then lost yesterday, so they still come away with the 3-1 on that. Braves will be back in action this evening, 5:55 airtime for that, 7:10 first pitch. Braves versus the New York Mets. That'll be a 3-game series. That'll take us all the way till Sunday afternoon. All Atlanta Braves right here.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a
21 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday morning. Ruby Taylor with the SDO Fire District. Ruby, good morning.
Good morning.
What do you have on the report for us?
Well, the fire department had 2 vehicle accidents and a power line fire. And on my birthday calendar today, I've got Karen Marr and Chris Glover having birthdays today. Hope they have a nice day. Tomorrow, Robert Green and Jordan Melton's having birthday tomorrow. Hope they have a nice day. Then Sunday, Bobby Dixon, Amy Husky, and Shane Briscoe is having birthdays. And I hope they all have a nice day. And the signs are in the heart today, the bells tomorrow and Sunday. That's all I got.
Ruby, I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Oh, I see the sun peeking out up there and starting to illuminate the road out there. Oh, that looks so
what
wonderful.
A beautiful sight.
Can we just move out in the parking lot there?
Maybe we could just scoot it on out, a little bit closer to the door.
Just let the sunlight hit us. 22 minutes after 7 o'clock, and we are at 53 degrees. Sun starting to come out, clear skies. It's going to be beautiful today. Supposed to be. Highs around 70, I do believe it is. Let me get my forecast here. Highs around 67 degrees, so up near 70. That one's the old forecast. It says it's supposed to rain, but the rain moved through last night and it went on.
Hallelujah.
So we're good for that. It's supposed to be clear today and tomorrow. There's the Miller back again. Supposed to be sunny today and tomorrow, so we hope for that. A lot of people with this rain have got some yard work they got to get caught up on, including myself.
You can't even hardly see our dog when he walks through the grass. It's so high.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, my mama said I need to cut the grass because she can't walk in it.
Yeah.
It's not 3 foot tall, Mama. It's just,
It's just enough to aggravate your ankles.
I love my mama to death. She says some of the funniest things. Continuing our call around report, let's go to Chris Melton next.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Chris Melton with us from the Chimney Rock Fire District, Lake Lure up that way. Chris, good morning, sir. How are you?
Great. How are y'all today?
Doing pretty good. Not gonna complain on this Friday. It's finally Friday, friends. Last day of work.
Yeah, Friday's not a complaining day.
No, we get on ready for the weekend.
That's right.
Then we'll start
Last
complaining
day for
about.
some.
Then we'll start complaining on Sunday evening about where'd the weekend go.
I can't believe tomorrow's Monday.
It's already Monday.
That's right.
Golly, it was just Friday yesterday.
That's right.
Chris, anything going on up there today?
Well, Bills Creek ran 2 fire alarms yesterday, and Chimney Rock ran a fire alarm. And that's it on the call report, and really nothing else. No reports to give.
Nice to just run a fire alarm. Nothing turned out to be nothing. Ain't nothing.
Absolutely.
I like that better. I'd rather see nothing as something on fire or burnt down or people trapped, or you just never know.
Same here.
All right, Chris. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you first thing Monday morning.
Y'all have a great weekend as well.
Thanks.
You too.
Chris Melton with that report from the Lake Lure area up that way. Well, let me tell you about the Habitat Restore. If you haven't stopped into the Habitat for Humanity Clothing Center, well, you're just missing out. They have a clothing center just behind the main office there, located at 269 West Main Street in Forest City. That's in the old former Charles Watkins car sales buildings there. You know where that is, just across from Pelican Snowballs. They have like new clothing for men, women, children, handbags, coats, jackets, sleepwear, shoes, jewelry, and accessories, and more. It's a beautiful put-together store. It's perfect for browsing around, and I promise you will not be disappointed. Hours are Wednesday through Friday, 10 a.m. until 5 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. That's the Habitat Restore Clothing Center, 269 West Main Street in Forest City. Give them a call at 828-229-3118, and all donations are appreciated. So I know Tracy likes going over there.
Oh, yeah.
They probably ain't got nothing to fit me.
Well, oh, yeah, they've got everything. They've got anything you're looking for. They have got.
Beat me some shoes.
They have got all of their clothes look brand new. I mean, they look like they've just you're in a little department store, because that's what it looks like.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
New, clean. You've got to make a trip over there.
Got to go check it out.
It's worth it.
$229, is that right?
And I think they're only open on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays,
and Saturdays.
And Saturday.
So 10 a.m. head over there. You can stay all day if you want. You can stay till 5 o'clock.
Oh, they'd love that.
Yeah, just hang out with them and say, hey, we're just gonna hang out.
Just spend all your money with Habitat Restore.
I went to a yard sale one time and I handed them. My wife kept picking up stuff, and I was getting stuff. And so I was trying to pay for my stuff, and I noticed Karen was still buying hers. So I just gave the lady like a $10 bill, and I was like, look, this is in earnest. Just if I owe you more, let me know. So I'm at least going to spend $10. But yeah, I think it was $11 or something. It wasn't much, but yeah, I just went ahead and paid her in advance so we could leave. Oh, continuing a call around report for this Friday, let's head over to Bostic and speak with DeVern Upton.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross Blue Shield Association.
7:27 on this Friday morning, and DeVern Upton's with us this morning. About time to go yard selling again, ain't it? Getting in that season, I like a good yard sale.
Yeah, I'm ready for that kind of that time of year. It's
buy
good.
More junk that I don't need. Just
yeah, we need some good yard sales.
Oh Lord, yeah, I love yard sales.
But you know what? You're beat up when you get done doing that. I feel like I've got
I don't like to do them myself.
I hate trying to get all that stuff that you didn't sell back and put it somewhere.
Oh yeah.
I know sometimes I just give it away.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. But I hate loading it up.
Yeah, best thing to do.
That's true.
DeVern, tell us about Bostic this morning.
Okay, we have a temperature of 57 degrees. Fire department responded to one fire alarm, and food boxes will be given out today again from 9 to 12:30 at Washburn's Outreach. They're off of Piney Church Road. Bostic Lincoln Center will be open today from 10 to 1. Go by and check that out. You'll enjoy that. Don't forget to go by Washburn store. Check all their items out. I'm sure they've got their seeds in because it's gardening time. And then don't forget to order for Prom and Mom at Bostic Floors here on Main Street in Bostic. And then stop in at Whistle Stop Baker and get your bakery items for the weekend. And hope everyone has a wonderful day.
DeVern, I like that. Go to shop for Prom and Mom.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. You should patent that and charge people to use it. That's what I would do.
Sherry's got it on her billboard out front.
Yeah, Sherry's got it. I copied Sherry.
Yeah, Sherry patented it.
Doggone it. I thought I had a breakthrough for DeVern right there. Prom and Mom.
That's right. No, we have to give Sherry credit.
Sorry, DeVern. I tried.
That's right.
DeVern, have a good day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks. Or Monday, I
Bye-bye.
should have said bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I said tomorrow. Well, Tom will call her tomorrow, won't he? Won't Tom do the...
I think so.
Yeah. Well, folks, it's spring. The sun is shining, and it is actually shining outside. The birds are singing, and Tony's produce is once again in full bloom. And go check out what I mean by full bloom. They literally are in full bloom with all the gorgeous flowers and hanging baskets. They have those available for Mother's Day and Memorial Day coming up. They also have a truckload of fresh fruits and vegetables, also beautiful door rings for spring and summer, homemade sweet treats and cakes made by the locals. They've got honey, jams, cantaloupes, watermelons, fresh strawberries. Tony's Produce is ready to let the good times roll. Open now 7 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 9 until 7. Wednesday, 9 until 6, and Sunday, 10 until 6. 773 North Washington Street in Rutherfordton. Give them a call at 287-9495. That's Tony's Fresh Produce Market. And one of the things I like to go up there to get, if you like salsa, I love salsa. He gets this local from Lincolnton. It's called Tim's Homemade Salsa. And That is the best salsa.
I am going to go try me some of that. What I want right now is a big old juicy watermelon.
Big old watermelon.
I'm going to go up there and get me a watermelon.
I probably wouldn't put salsa on watermelon. But, if you have some.
Yeah, we'll keep those separate.
Doritos. Or
maybe a little salt.
Some chips or something. Yeah, oh yeah, man. Tim's homemade salsa, probably the best I've ever had, and I love eating salsa.
I'll have to go get me some and try that out.
Check that out. 7:31. We're going to continue our trip around the county, and we'll check in with Mount Vernon. Robbie Samuel coming up next.
It's the store folks in Western North Carolina depend on. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply. It's like a superstore. Deer corn, $11.05 for 50 pounds. Cob corn, $10. They have plenty of deer plant supplies. Check on the lower prices on propane, $12.99 for a 20-pound tank. Mulch, gravel, rocks, and supplies for beautiful landscaping. That's available at Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply at lower prices. Open Monday through Saturday. If you want a feed and seed store that carries so much more, including new and used farm equipment, then come on over to Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply, 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
7:32 on this Friday morning, and Robbie Samuel with us from Mount Vernon. Robbie, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Hey, Mr. Robbie. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
I'm good.
I was telling Robbie over the break.
It is.
Oh, go ahead. I was telling Robbie over the break there that old movie I watched last night, 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that, but Howard Keel starred in that movie. Howard Keel was a big movie star back in the 50s, 60s, right in there. And he filmed that movie, or he was in a movie, 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. Well, in 1960, my dad was stationed with the U.S. Army over in Bamberg, Germany. He was over a tank battalion. So they were filming a movie called Armored Command and filmed it in Bamberg, Germany. Well, they used my dad's tank battalion, tank platoon, whatever, and they gave them all German uniforms. Because you got to remember, this is only, 15 years removed from World War II, so they still had all this stuff around. And dressed my dad and all his guys in his company up as Germans, and they painted their American tanks like German tanks, and they ran around in the field for 2 days filming a movie. So somewhere in there, my dad was in Armored Command with Howard Keel, Tina Louise, and it was the first movie appearance of Burt Reynolds.
Interesting.
So that was pretty cool. Daddy tried to steal the German uniform, but somebody stole it from him.
Oh.
So that's how that went.
Way it goes. You was watching that, and I was watching Hatfield and McCoy's.
Oh gosh! Hey, Robbie, have you seen that movie? It's like a 2 or 3 hour movie. The Hatfields and McCoys.
Haven't seen that.
No.
Wow, that is. It tells the whole story of. It's really good. If you get a chance to watch it, watch it.
I will. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
What I was watching was on Netflix and had Kevin Costner in it.
Oh,
He
that's
was
it?
one of the-
Yeah,
That's it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I didn't get to finish it all. I actually went to sleep.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'll have to finish it.
I couldn't remember his name. I couldn't remember. Kevin Costner wouldn't pop out of my brain.
I went through Harlan
I had to
County.
think about it myself.
I went through Harlan County, Kentucky one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's not a place you need to stop. I just hoping my car didn't break down, and we just kept on digging.
Yeah. That's actually a good little series. What I've watched last night of it, and it's really good.
It
I
really
like it
is.
So far, so.
Yeah, I didn't realize that's what you. Yes, that is. Me and my mom sat and watched that one night, and it was so really good, really informative, isn't it?
It is. It really is. It's very interesting. That's for sure. I'm anxious to finish it now. So
yeah, it's amazing.
I'm one of those.
Go ahead.
I'm one of those that I can't. If the movie's more than an hour and a half long, I'm going to sleep at some point.
Me too.
I'll
I
have
start
to finish it.
And it's not that it's boring. It's not that the movie's boring. It's just my bedtime.
Yep, that's right.
It's time to go to
That's
bed.
exactly right. It's one thing if it's during the day where, if you had time to sit and watch, but
Right.
I'm like you. And when it gets dark
Yeah.
and it just gets quiet, it's time for bed.
Our bodies, we have little alarm clocks inside of us, and they tell us when to get up and go to bed, don't they?
That's exactly right. Oh, man, it just don't like to tell me. It wants to tell me to get up, but I don't want to get up half the time. That's the problem.
Tell me about it.
But, well, on the fire department's in, both Rutherford and Hudlow, we ended up with a medical call through the night. So luckily that's all we had during the downpours of rain, and so we was lucky on that. So there wasn't no motor vehicle crashes on our end anyway. I'm sure there was through the county, but on our end we kind of kept that quiet through the night. So hopefully it will stay that way today. And just want to remind everybody about the blood drive at Rutherford Fire Department next Wednesday, May the 3rd. It'll be at 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and that'll be on Mitchell Street at the fire station. And the grand opening of the main station will be May the 4th from 3 to 5:30. So I'd like to see some folks come out for that and see the new facelift we put on the building, and what we got and what we're moving forward with. And also we'll have some drawings of the second station that's being built right now as well on Baber Road. So that'll be nice if folks want to see what the layout's going to look for that. And also the Fab Fest will be at 6 p.m. May the 5th on Central Street in Rutherford. So come out, unwind on next Friday night. So I don't know what you'll plan on doing tonight, but at least it's Friday. And like you said, the sun's trying to peek through, and hopefully tomorrow will be a good day.
That's right. Got to get some yard work done, I know, tomorrow. That's most definite.
Ooh. Yeah, that's 2 weeks worth of yard work catching up, because there wasn't no doing none last week.
Yep,
y'all are going to have that fire department looking so nice and sharp that we're not going to be able to do anything with y'all. Y'all are going to be so highfalutin over there.
That's right. We're going to tilt. We ain't even going to tip our hat.
I started to say highfalutin, and then you said it. That's a good old country word.
It is highfalutin.
Robbie's too highfalutin.
It's speaking of the fire station, it's kind of funny, folks still refer to it as the new fire station, and it is, but it's over 25 years old. It's hard to believe, and when you tell folks that over in Marlin, well, that's a new fire station. Well, it was 25 years ago.
Oh my God! I know time flies. I mean, you can blink and it's 25 years.
I know it is. It's crazy, and so
I know it.
But you know what? Maybe we'll be around 25 more years. Who knows?
Who knows?
We'll see what it looks like. But well, that's all I got for you, and hopefully I'll have some more stuff for you Monday. And I hope y'all have a great weekend and enjoy yourself and enjoy the sunshine. What one day we'll have of it.
That's
We
right.
hope you do too.
Robbie, appreciate the report. We'll talk to you again on Monday.
All right, sounds like a plan. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Robbie Samuel with that report from the Mount Vernon Fire District. We'll check in with Sue Price next.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
7:40, 20 minutes till 8 o'clock. Sue Price with us from the Cherry Mountain Sunshine Fire District. Sue, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good. Hope you are.
Doing good.
Good.
What do you have for us this morning, Sue?
Well, I didn't have any calls from the fire department, so I reckon they were quiet. That's a good thing. And don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on my calendars today. Nobody's celebrating that I know of. But we hope anybody's having a birthday or anniversary will have a really good day on their special, beautiful day. And in my announcements, the community Bible study going on at Golden Valley Church. That's at 6 p.m. on Tuesday evenings. And they're studying the book of Revelations. And Pastor Tom Elkins is the leader. The Golden Valley Community Club will be having a fundraiser, hopefully tomorrow. It's going to be a pretty day. we hope so. There'll be some outside yard sales, and the club will be having sausage biscuits and liver mush biscuits for breakfast from 8 to 10:30, and then hot dogs and hamburgers from 11 to 1:30, and that's for donations. And Fairview Baptist Church is going to be having a singing on April 30th at 6:30 p.m. Singer and songwriter Gary Peters and guest guitarist Caleb Hauser, and everyone's welcome. Refreshments will be served after the singing. The Golden Valley Community Club is going to be having a blood drive. That's May 1st from 4 to 7 p.m. So if you're able to give blood, that's a good thing to do. So far, that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm. Looking for a good day and a good weekend. I hope y'all have one.
Thanks, Sue. You do the same. We'll talk
Thank you,
to you
Sue.
Monday.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Sue Price for that report. Sunshine, Cherry Mountain Fire District. Moving around the county, we'll head up to Tina White, Shingle Hollow after this.
To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale, 828-287-9197.
$7:42 on this Friday morning. Tina going to have some pork chops and applesauce this morning for breakfast. Good morning, Tina. How are you?
Sometimes I wonder about you.
Half the people in this county do, too.
Well,
It's
I was
okay.
telling him, I don't know if you remember Peter Brady on the Brady Bunch. He said that one time, and it kind of just stuck. He asked his mama. He asked his mom, he said, what are we having for dinner? And she said, pork chops and applesauce. And then he started going, oh, we're having pork chops and applesauce. Look it up.
Well, it reminds me of the apple barn in Pigeon Forge. I think that would be something they would have, pork chops and applesauce, at least apple fritters.
Hey, what's funny is that don't even for the 60s, that don't even sound good.
It doesn't.
Now,
but now the apple barn in Pigeon Forge is really good.
Now that lady, their cook, what was the
Alice?
That woman cooked up more meatloaf than any woman I've seen in my life. Tina, what's going on this morning?
Well, it's around 57 degrees in Shingle Hollow this morning, and the fire department was off quiet the past 24 hours. We have birthdays today for Shannon Slaughter and Wilma Hudson. I hope that these have a wonderful birthday. For announcements, there's going to be an old-fashioned tent revival starting April 30th, going through May 3rd at 1081 Johnny Knob Road in Rutherfordton. The evangelist will be Bishop Anthony No, and it starts at 6 p.m. on Sunday, 7 p.m. each other night, and special singing each night. That's all I've got going on this morning.
All right, Tina, thanks so much for the report. Have safe travels this morning, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Tina White with that report from the Shingle Holler community. We'll move over and check in with Brenda Kelly.
Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Trying to make contact with Brenda Kelly this morning. Can't get through to her. It goes straight to a busy signal. All this rain may have affected the phone lines up that way. So, I don't know. It's just not going through. We'll check in with Luther Gillikin down in Ellenboro. We'll do that next.
Jim, have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous.
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course. They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
7:47 on this Friday morning. Luther Gillikin in Ellenboro. Luther, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great down at the end of the work week.
End of the work
big
week.
Weekend coming up.
After 5 o'clock today, you won't have nothing else to do, Luther, until Monday.
That's right, just nothing to do. But it's quiet down here this morning, nothing going on. I just trying to get some biscuits and get this last day of the weekend. To the fire department, they didn't have one medical call yesterday, didn't have anything last night, so everything going good down here. But next Saturday, not tomorrow, but next Saturday, going to be having a big time-wide yard sale down here. So everyone's invited to have a yard sale in their yard. Or if you don't have it in their yard, just come out on Depot Street and have one out there. And nothing else happening down here. So you have a good day up there. You enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.
All right. We'll see you, Luther. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care now.
Luther with that report from the Ellenboro Fire District, and it'll be time for our birthdays coming up in just a few moments. If you're celebrating a birthday or anniversary today, give us a call, 287-3356. We'll have a party in your honor, and we'll give away a cupcake courtesy of Whistle Stop Bakery.
Nicholas Caputo, the county clerk, was responsible for a fair selection process in placing names on the election ballot. After the same political party got the coveted spot 40 out of 41 times, someone complained. On July 22, 1985, the New Jersey Supreme Court ordered Caputo to institute a new system in selecting the listings on the ballot. Observing that the odds against such results are 50 billion to 1, the court remarked that few reasonable persons would think that blind chance was responsible for the results of Caputo's drawings. The way God works in our lives is far more than blind chance. The odds are just too great. Chance cannot explain the money showing up for the mortgage just when you need it, or the new job that became available just at the time the old job was being phased out. And well, you fill in the blanks. Do you see God's hand at work in your life? Do you look for it? Do you pray for it? May I suggest that you do a 30-day test? Pray about specific needs in your life and then note the way those prayers are answered. Why not record it in your personal journal? Can you see the hand of God at work? Or did the things happen by mere chance? If you observe God at work in your life, don't forget to thank Him for His care. This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living. Scripts for these programs are sold in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
Folks, let me tell you about Granny B's. They're the headquarters for those delicious donuts, orange twist, Long John's cream-filled donuts, or just a traditional glazed donut. Stop in and enjoy a fresh sub sandwich, or if you don't want the bread, you can get a salad instead. For birthdays, showers, or any occasion, I want you to call on Granny B's for their delicious cakes or petit-fours. Open Tuesday through Friday, 9 until 7. Saturday, 9 until 6, closed on Monday. Call them, 828-286-9012, 322 West Main Street in Spindale. That's Granny B's. I'd like to say happy birthday to Wendy Williams Harden, 39 and holding, a big winky sign right there. So we'll just say she's 39 and holding. Coming up on Sunday, got a special birthday, Tracy. Listen here, Ella Hamilton.
Aww.
Birthday. She wouldn't even tell me how old she was.
Oh, she's 39 and holding.
She's got to be at least 43. But you know how it goes. Ella, we love you. Thank you for all you do around here.
Happy birthday,
Hope you
Ella.
have a wonderful birthday
Happy
coming
birthday, Wendy. I also know Wendy, and she's a wonderful lady.
Happy birthday, Wendy. Also celebrating birthdays on this day, 1758, James Monroe. He was our 5th president. 1878, actor Lionel Barrymore. 1926, Harper Lee was born. You know who Harper Lee is? She wrote To Kill a Mockingbird.
Well,
1930, actress Carolyn Jones. You remember Carolyn Jones?
no.
Morticia Addams from the Addams Family. Anne Margaret, an actress, 1941. Jay Leno, born 1956. And Penelope Cruz was born 1974. Events happening on this day. In 1789, Fletcher Christian leads a mutiny aboard the ship HMS Bounty against Captain Bligh, and that spawned the book Mutiny on the Bounty.
Interesting.
1919, the first jump of the U.S. Army Air Corps using a ripcord parachute was demonstrated and went into use. Still being used today. 1957, WSOC TV Channel 9 in Charlotte begins broadcasting. Today is National Arbor Day, National Historic Marker Day, National Hairball Awareness Day. I didn't think we needed a day just to be aware of hairballs. National Superhero Day.
We're living in 2023.
That's
Anything
right.
goes.
And you are up to date right here at WCAB.
How do you define strength? Is it physical? Or is it mental? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's whatever empowers a person to dig deeper, fight harder, and overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Discover how much stronger and more confident your children can be. Encourage them to participate in a sport when they go to high school.
This message presented by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the North Carolina Athletic Directors Association.
Hi, I'm Vivica Fox. For more than 100 years, American Humane has been rescuing animals during hurricanes, floods, and wildfires. But Mother Nature isn't the only danger animals face. Sometimes it's human nature. Every year, 6 million animals are abandoned and more than 1 million are euthanized. You can be a hero to animals in need of rescue and adoption at AmericanHumane.org.
Hey, we got a new reporter with us this morning from the Sandy Musk community, Jimmy Taylor, with us this morning. Jimmy, good morning. How are you, sir?
Oh, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
I went back in the archives for that one.
Jimmy Taylor, boy, that brings back memories.
Yes, it does.
Well, it was another great getting up morning here in Sandy Musk. The sun is shining. The cars are traveling entirely too fast up and down 221 highway. The birds are chirping. The squirrels are scampering. And Misty's laying in the floor asleep, and I'm on my second cup of coffee this morning.
Oh, coffee number 2, huh?
Life is good.
Life is good. Well, you need to get out there and start directing traffic out there on 221.
Sorry to say, you need one of those little little orange vest on
and a stop
and
sign.
trying to stop these people.
I'll tell you, they really have to speed up down this highway for sure. But that's okay, as long as nobody gets hurt.
Yep, as long as nobody gets hurt and don't act too crazy out there.
Well, what's on your calendar today, Jim Bishop?
Well, you know what? I haven't talked with my social secretary yet to find out what my plans are yet, but I think I'm going to have to come back and do some more cleaning out of my office before they run me out of there, up there to the radio station. But I've got some things to do, and who knows? Just whatever comes, whatever Misty decides she wants me to do outside with her, I'll probably go outside with her.
You might be chasing squirrels after a while. You never know.
you know, if you have a pet in the house, the pets are the boss.
Jim, if you start chasing squirrels, please, we're going to have to call somebody.
they need to be chased. They keep robbing my bird feeder.
Oh no!
And eating all the bird feed out of my bird feeder, so I'm getting a little anxious about them hanging around the house too much.
Isn't that amazing? The problems that retired people have. It is just, ain't that amazing, Todd?
It's rough, I tell you.
If you do happen to start chasing squirrels, please film it. We'd like to see it. We'll upload that to our YouTube video, and
the squirrels might start chasing you.
I know it. They look at we have our granddaughter gave us one of these bird feeders. It sticks on your window where you can watch the birds feed.
Oh, yes.
And the squirrels will jump up there, and they'll look inside the house, see if anybody's looking at them. By the time I stand up slowly, they jump down and run. So they know what they're doing. They know they're stealing somebody else's feed.
Oh, they know that. They got that down to a science.
Oh, my goodness.
Things going well with you guys?
I can't complain. So far, so good.
We just miss you. Thank you for letting us call in and check in with you every little bit.
Sure, happy to do that. I heard the reports sound like everything's pretty quiet around the county.
Seemed like it. Yep, not a whole lot of calls, even though the torrential downpour for 2 days. I found out one thing. I got me a little Kia Soul. I found out I'm used to driving heavier vehicles, my truck, stuff like that. That little Kia will hydroplane in a minute.
Oh yeah, I bet
so.
Oh
yeah. Yeah.
My big old truck don't do that.
74, what used to be called 74 South, right there in front of the old mall. That road there is easy to hydroplane in just about any car if you're not careful.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think I was on that road yesterday when I found that out. I was going past Kentucky Fried Chicken down the South Broadway, and it hydroplaned. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it is bad to do that down through there. I've noticed that.
I don't know
too.
what it is about that road, but it sure hydroplaned real fast.
Yep. If you're out driving in the rain, you got to be careful. That'll hit you, and you'll be out of the road before you know it. And there's no steering it. There's no braking it.
It's out of control.
Yep. You're just gone at that point.
You guys got big plans for the weekend?
I got to cut grass.
I'm going to have my little girls tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah, we're going to hang out.
There you go. Hang out with Momo.
Yep.
Todd said, I've got to cut grass, and he grins because he knows it's too wet to cut grass right now.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It'll probably dry out before then, though. Well, Jim, thanks so much for letting us talk with you on this Friday mornings, and we'll look forward to doing it again.
You guys have a great weekend.
Thanks, Jim. You too.
Bye, Jim.
Bye-bye. That is our good friend Jim Bishop letting us talk in with him on Friday mornings down in Sandy Mush. He's officially retired now, and he's enjoying the retired life.
I think he really is. But that's good. He deserves it.
That's right. Stay tuned. Coming up, we've got Beth Helton will be live with Beth Helton Real Estate Moments. I forget what it's actually called. Is it Real Estate?
Insights.
Insight. Real Estate Insights. I knew it.
That's right.
I knew it was
she's got
something
a whip.
like that. I knew it was something like that.
We're gonna whip him into shape.
Just couldn't think of it. Real Estate Insights with Beth Helton coming up a little bit after 8 o'clock this morning. Lou Gillum will be in here broadcasting with Beth. Howdy, Lou.
Howdy, Tom.
How in the world are you?
Super duper.
Super duper, as always.
Anybody missed that film last night of Progressive Rutherford County? They missed a treat.
I saw that on Facebook, and it was actually a reel-to-reel. Or a reel. I thought it was just like a DVD.
Did you have a good turnout?
Yes.
Good.
85 people, I believe it was.
And Robin Lattimore had the original film there.
Oh,
yeah.
I hate I missed that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, I knew I'd regret that.
That's right. Well, folks, it's been fun being here with you today on this Friday morning. Look forward to being here again with you on Monday morning. And don't forget, coming up later on this evening, we've got Atlanta Braves baseball. Braves will be playing the New York Mets. 5:55 airtime for that. 7:10 first pitch. That'll be game one of the 3-game series. Atlanta will be in action tomorrow afternoon. 2:50 airtime. 4:05 first pitch, and then another afternoon game on Sunday. 12:25 airtime. 1:40 first pitch. Tracy, always good to be in here with you.
Well, thank you very much. Likewise.
Always have a good time. We always try to get have a good humor about ourselves. Don't mean to offend anybody if we do.
Try to start everybody off on a good day, a good note every morning.
Until Monday, have a great weekend.
WCAB, the golden music's on us.
News.
I'm Derek Dennis. Another deadly night for Russia's war in Ukraine. Russian missiles hitting several civilian targets in Kyiv and in Uman. At least 12 dead.
The strikes happened at 4:30 in the morning when, of course, most people would have been in bed. President Zelensky tweeting another night of Russian terror. Now, most missiles were intercepted, but a residential apartment block in the central city of Uman was hit, killing more than a dozen people, including children.
ABC's Ian Panel. Meantime, a deadly crash of 2 Army helicopters in Alaska. 3 soldiers killed, a 4th injured in the wreckage.
This is the second mid-air collision within a month. 9 soldiers were killed during a training mission in Kentucky at the end of March when 2 Black Hawk helicopters collided mid-air and crashed. That was a night mission, and the crew was wearing night vision goggles. This crash in Alaska happened in clear weather before dark. This is certainly something they will look at in terms of training.
ABC's Martha Raddatz. The Northeast bracing for severe weather today. Heavy rain moving up from the south. In the Florida Panhandle, at least 1 tornado touching down near Tallahassee. Forecasters also watching the threat of historic flooding in the mid and upper Midwest. And in Texas, 2 boys nearly killed by a lightning strike.
13-year-old Jaden Alvarado and his 7-year-old brother Isaac are alert and improving, while their mother,
I thought I had lost my voice, honestly.
Jessica Martinez Alvarado, is feeling grateful.
Thank God that he didn't take my voice.
Lightning injuries are rare,
but it does happen,
says Dr. Taylor Loudon at Cook Children's Medical Center in Fort Worth, where the 2 brothers are patients.
We do have to be aware, especially in Texas, where storms can come out of nowhere.
The storm that spawned the lightning that hit Jaden and Isaac was about 40 miles away. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
The Federal Reserve and the FDIC releasing financial reports today on the failures last month of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. You're listening to ABC News.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right, but right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
The Gap announcing it's laying off 1,800 corporate employees as it continues to try to cut costs. The company cut 500 jobs last year. The retailer says the layoffs will be across company brands, including Old Navy, Banana Republic, and Athleta, and will primarily affect workers at its New York and San Francisco headquarters, as well as regional store managers. Speaking to reporters for the first time since her imprisonment in Russia, WNBA star Brittany Griner breaking her silence.
Brittany Griner with her first comments to reporters about her 10 months of detention in Russia.
You're going to be faced with adversities throughout your life. This was a pretty big one.
The Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and Washington Post all running ads demanding Russia release detained Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, calling his arrest the latest in a disturbing trend. I asked Griner about that.
During your detention, were you aware of all of the efforts on your behalf? And what message would you send to Evan and Paul Whelan?
Yes, I was aware. It made me a little bit have hope, which is a really hard thing to have.
ABC's Matt Gutman. Pope Francis arrived in Hungary today for a 3-day visit. He's expected to meet with refugees who have fled the war in neighboring Ukraine. The Pope has urged European nations to welcome people fleeing hardship and conflict. This is ABC News.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills. Online at CordellCordell.com. 5580 Place, Suite 900, Greenville, South Carolina, 29601. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
I'm Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Rutherford County, you've got a brand new business called the Relatively Crafty Market. It's a warehouse full of awesome vendors where you'll find unique gifts like handmade home decor, repurposed furniture pieces, jewelry, signs, bath and body products, children's gifts, and a whole lot more. It's a mixture of old and new coming together to create the perfect market. Hours are Monday through Thursday, 10 to 5, Friday and Saturday, 10 to 7, and Sundays, 11 to 4. Call 980-1197. That's the Relatively Crafty Vendor Market, 114 Michael Drive in Forest City, in the old former Kids Play building off Doggett Road.
You're listening to WCAB. I'm Kevin Pleasant here in the Blue Room taking a look at your weather forecast. You can expect today to be mostly cloudy with some showers and isolated storms and a high near 67. Wind gust up to 16 miles per hour, chance of precipitation 60%. And overnight, partly cloudy with scattered showers, lows around 52, chance of precipitation 60%. This has been your weather forecast. Keep it tuned in to 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, Rutherfordton.
And it's 6 minutes past 8 o'clock. Well, it's 1 degree warmer this morning than it was at 11:30 yesterday. It's 56 degrees right now, and we're seeing some sunshine. Hopefully it'll dry things up and everybody can dry out a little bit. Every Friday morning, she comes in and gives us the words of wisdom about real estate, the real estate market. Good time to buy, good time to sell. Have you got another joke?
No.
Oh, I was looking forward to another one. Maybe you need to tell the one you told last week in case somebody missed that one.
Oh, okay. I can do that. What do you call a detective who has his real estate license?
I know the answer, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let you be able to do it.
It still cracks me up. I try not to laugh so much this time. Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes. Minus the L. The L got out of there.
I just think that is so cool. But of course, it doesn't take much to make me happy. I tell you, you got to see the fun things in life,
Yeah, I'd love to see you when you sell a house.
I do too, buddy. Let me tell you, there's nothing funner than, or more fun than to get
to the South. We say funner.
Than to get to a closing table and you've got your people. Sometimes they're first-time home buyers. Sometimes they're an older couple who is wanted to downsize, and they just get so excited when they get the keys to that house.
Oh.
And it just tickles me to death. I mean, that's what makes it all worth it for me. And so sometimes what my job is to help people navigate through the fog. I was thinking about that this morning coming in. It was really foggy in places. And I thought, oh my goodness. And then of course, everything I think about is real estate. It drives me nuts. But I was thinking about how in this market especially, it is kind of foggy. We don't know what to do. We don't know where things are going. Sometimes you kind of lose your way. That's why you need a professional realtor to help you navigate, the real estate waters. Because right now the market, it's still a seller's market. We still don't have as many properties to sell. But also, I want to explain something to people that are trying to sell it and get way more than they probably should. A bank is going to only loan what they think the house is worth. So if you've got it listed at $150,000 and you get a $300,000 offer, you're not going to get $300,000 for that house. The appraiser has to go out there and he will appraise it. An appraiser goes and figures out the value. The bank then takes his report, his appraisal, and they say, okay, we're not going to loan you more than this on this property. If that appraisal comes in high, that's great. Then that means you have more equity in the house. That does not mean the price of the house goes up. That just means the value is there. If the appraiser comes back and he says, this house is lower than what the asking price is, and it's lower than what you've got it under contract for, the bank's not going to loan you the money to make the difference. So the seller either has to come down off the price or the buyer has to come up with a difference. And, you're talking about, let's say on a $175,000 house and it appraises at $160,000. That's $15,000 difference. $15,000 is nothing to sneeze at. So, somebody's got to make up the difference or the seller's just got to come down. That's why I always try to prepare my sellers and let them know if it does not appraise, you're going to have to come down or they're going to have to come up. And most of the time, buyers cannot come up with that money. Money doesn't grow on trees, not in my backyard anyway. So the appraiser And the other thing about appraisers is that people get appraisers and inspections confused. I hear all the time, oh, well, it's not going to pass. It's not going to pass inspection. The bank won't loan money if it doesn't pass inspection. I'm like, no, the bank can care two hoots about the inspection. The bank, if you get an FHA loan or a USDA loan or a VA loan, those three loans require an appraiser who is looking for certain things about the house. This is not a home inspection. It's just there are certain criteria that have to be met. For example, a VA loan, it's a veteran's loan. They don't want a hole in the ceiling. They don't want a hole in the roof. They don't want, cracked windows. They're looking for safety. So an appraiser may come in and it may appraise above the asking price, but there are certain things that may have to be fixed first. So the seller has to be willing to do that. That's why sometimes sellers say, I don't want a USDA loan, I don't want a VA loan, it's got to be cash or conventional. Conventional couldn't care two hoots just about the condition. Conventional is pretty flexible. An inspection tells you the condition of the house. So while the appraisal tells you the value, the inspection tells you the condition. I always suggest everybody get a home inspection because you need to know what you're buying. Every contract in the state, it's an as-is contract, but we do have the second negotiation of inspections. And so if you don't get a home inspected and you go ahead and close, you're accepting it as is condition. So if something breaks, don't be calling me, say, it broke. Well, you didn't have a home inspection. Or if you did have a home inspection and you said, no, I'm not going to ask them to fix anything, then it's on you. So we have this period called the due diligence period. That's where we have these home inspections done. So if we get a home inspection and they notice that there's a roof leak, we're not going to ask them to replace the roof. We're going to ask them to fix that repair, to repair that part of the roof. Now, if the whole roof is about to cave in, well, yeah, that's a different story. But we need to ask sellers to fix or repair things that are of a big concern. If it's missing a faceplate on a light switch, you are not going to ask a seller, I want that faceplate back. Yeah, I mean, come on. So you got to use your head about these things. And so that's one of the challenges that we have as realtors is explaining the difference between the inspection and the appraiser because people keep getting those confused. An inspection is not required, an appraisal is. You have to pay for both of those out of your pocket. And the lender will not do the appraisal. They won't order it until you pay for it. So, typically, I say it's the sooner the better. The other thing is like spring cleaning. Things are starting to get on the market now. We do have more things on the market, but we still need a whole lot more. Please let me list your house. We need so many houses, it's not even funny. But we are starting to see more houses come on the market. With spring coming and the rain we just had, things are starting to bloom and grow, including your weeds. So if you can pull the weeds, that's great. Curb appeal is important, but it's not the be-all and end-all. So, like, if you got a new construction house, you're not going to have any curb appeal. I mean, let's face it. They're going to put the house up there and leave it up to you to stick in bushes and flowers and grass. So, this is what I always tell people. Even though the outside may not look great, look past that because maybe these people aren't yard people. Maybe they have somebody come cut their grass, but he hasn't shown up yet. Maybe they're more concerned with the inside of their house and the maintenance of the house itself than with the yard. So don't just say because the house looks crappy on the outside that it's crappy on the inside. Let's give them some slack here just in case. Typically, what it looks like on the outside, maybe what it looks like on the inside, but not always. So we got to cut some people some slack. My house looks terrible on the outside, and I keep doing little things here and there, and I've got a guy that I've told him that he's going to have to come and plant some flowers because whenever I go and buy the flowers, they never make it into the dirt. What is wrong with me? I might as well just burn money, right? So I've told him, I said, now I'm going to get some flowers. I'm going to let you know when I get my flowers so that you can come and plant my flowers. Because I just don't have time to do it. I have the best of intentions, but that doesn't cut it. So if you're getting ready to list your house, go through it with a fine-tooth comb. If you need to restain some doors, stain your doors. If you need to touch up paint, touch up paint. If you need to clean your carpet, by all means, please clean your carpet. If you need to declutter, cabinets, countertops, and closets, less is more. So if you're not using it, then pack it up. People understand boxes. Oh, I'm getting ready to move. Yeah, okay, well, I expect to see some boxes. If they open a closet and these clothes pop out in their face, then your closet is too small, even if it's a huge closet. So perception is what we're dealing with, in that if I think your house is too small, then it's too small. I don't care how many square feet you got. If I walk into a room and you got this big bulky furniture and I feel like the room is claustrophobic, then it's claustrophobic. So what realtors have to do is we have to sort of say, okay, yeah, you feel enclosed. Yes, I feel enclosed. It's terrible. This is a small room. But look at their furniture. It's huge furniture. So if we take the furniture out, it's really a big, big room. So we try to focus people's attention on past the furniture. Look at the whole picture, not just one little piece. It's a challenge sometimes.
I've got two questions, but there's one I think it's going to take a long time to answer it, so I'll hold it for next Friday. But here's the thing. I watch a lot of the do-it-yourself, Flipper Flop, Magnolia, Fixer Up, all those stuff. Well, okay. They go in and they buy a home, and they think they've got a 3-bedroom house. Mm-hmm. But guess what? This 3rd bedroom was illegally built onto that house. How do you find out whether this section of the house is really part of the house or something that was added on and nobody knew about?
Well, we can go to the permit office and ask them. Now, they don't keep their permits, but 7 years, I think it is. If it is not permitted work, that can cause the insurance company not to pay if there's a loss, or they may not pay completely if there's a loss. If you do not have permitted work done and you know it's not been permitted, you need to, and you're going to list that house, you better let somebody know ASAP that it's not been permitted, because that means the county has not come and they've not inspected it. So it has not been approved by the county according to building code standards. If it's not up to building code standards, you're going to probably have to rip it out and do again, because that's some serious stuff right there.
Does that become the new buyer, or does that go back on the old owner?
It goes on the owner, the current owner. If you've got unpermitted work in your house and you own it and you want to sell it, you might want to get somebody in there to come and inspect that stuff. You may have to rip out some sheetrock. If you did any electrical, now if you did electrical and plumbing, you are required to get a permit. If you get an electrician, a licensed contractor electrician to come out there, he is obligated to get an electrical permit. If you get some contractors, you can do up to $30,000 worth of like carpentry work without a permit. But if you're talking electrical plumbing, you got to have permits for those. I mean, electrical especially can cause a fire. So if you've got an electrician to do it and you're like, I don't know whether you got a permit or not, well, then who did the work? I'll call them myself and find out. And sometimes that alleviates some of the problem.
I buy a house. I'm already in the house. Something goes wrong. Somebody comes and looks. They say, this room was not here. Mm-hmm. Is that my fault, my problem about the house? I've done everything. Or does that go back on the old owner?
If you've closed, it's on you now.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, me.
Yeah, because once you close, and it says in the contract, it says, that once you have closed, that you have accepted the property in its current as-is condition. And so that's why I'm really stressing people really need to get permits. A lot of people will take the back deck and they'll enclose it and make it like a sunroom. But then when they start adding a little heater here or an electrical outlet there, they're like, oh, it's no big deal because there's an outlet on the other side of the wall. We'll just pull wires through. Mm-hmm. Stop. Don't do that. Get a professional. See, this is the thing that kills me. For sale by owners, do-it-yourselfers, they all think, I can do this. And some do-it-yourselfers do a really good job. But you got to do it according to the rules. And if you don't know the rules, you can't play the game. So in my game, it's, listen, my job is to get you the highest price for your house. My job is to get you to pay the lowest amount possible for a house. My job is to let you know everything I can find wrong with the house. It's to guide you and let you know you might want to get this house inspected just to make sure. Because you don't know what you don't know. I mean, that's why you need a professional to help you, because we see all kinds of problems. We see all kinds of issues that we want people to avoid. And you can't avoid them if you don't know and you don't know what to look for. So that's why we're here.
She knows. She's smart.
I've made a lot of mistakes.
She's made a lot of mistakes. That's Beth Helton. We've got the Sheriff's Report coming up right after this.
We're all about saving every dime these days, aren't we? Stretching dollars is everything in today's households. Stop giving the big box stores all your hard-earned money. Stop at Jay's Discount Grocery on Oak Street in Forest City. Jay's has thousands of merchandise at incredible low prices. Fresh produce every week, your choice of top-quality meats, canned food, frozen favorites, ice cream, snack foods, cleaning products, dog food, and so much more. The big box stores only want your money. It's small-town folks like Rick that care about the little people, like you and me. Shop Jay's Discount Grocery Monday through Wednesday, 8 to 7, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 8 till 8. EBT card and debit cards are welcome. That's Jay's Discount Grocery, 671 Oak Street, Forest City.
Mom's the top, so shop the tops. Simply Divine Gift Shop inside Hardin's Drug in Forest City. Just for Mother's Day, you'll find the popular gift line by Alex and Annie, Vera Bradley, Kendra Scott Jewelry, Spartina handbags, Willow Tree figurines, shoes, garden flags, Myra handbags, designer apparel, wind chimes, and a whole lot more that Mom's going to love. So say Happy Mother's Day with a beautiful gift from Simply Divine Gift Shop inside Hardin's Drug, 770 South Church Street in Forest City.
Are your auto insurance rates going too high? Most insurance rates have gone up, but Insurance Service Associates, we have one company that had just reduced some of its auto insurance rates. Many of our companies have changed their rating platforms to be able to offer more coverage for less money. That's what we try to do also. Call Insurance Service Associates for your auto and homeowners insurance. Insurance Service Associates, 245-5301, or drop by and see us at 245 East Main Street, Forest City.
Is your mom hard to buy for Mother's Day? Well, it's a Mother's Day extravaganza warehouse sale at Cozy Home. It's going to be Thursday, May the 4th from 10 until 4, Friday the 15th from 10 until 4, and Saturday, May the 6th from 9 until 2. They've got tons of sheets, assorted colors of designer towels, plush blankets, bathrobes, bed pillows, gorgeous new spring throw pillows, and even the doggy beds. They've got a perfect gift for Mom. Cozy Home is at 181 Duke Street in Forest City, right beside Henson Building Supply. It's time for that Sheriff's Report recorded earlier for broadcast at this time. With the Sheriff's Report, here is Sergeant King.
In the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Department responded to 196 calls for service. There were 8 arrests processed in the jail, and jail currently has 171 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, Christopher Ledford from Airwood Road in Rutherford reported a communicating threats, and a Stella Knob from Bentwood Drive in Forest City reported a financial card fraud. That's all for the incident reports. On our arrest reports, Antoine Mills from Hudlow Road in Union Mills was served with 2 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $2,000 secured bond. Jeremy Walters from Crowderry Road in Forest City was served with a warrant for assault on a female, received a domestic violence hold. Una Manion from South Hillside Street in Rutherford was served with a warrant for domestic violence protection order violation, received a $5,000 unsecured bond. And Brianna Bradley from Lawing Road in Forest City was served with 5 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor and received a $2,500 secured bond. That's all we have for today.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp now for free information on how to get started today. InventHelp provides invention services that help everyday inventors get started with their idea. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. Our services include professional materials needed to showcase your invention. and 3D animation and prototype modeling that help you demonstrate your idea. Get down to the details of your idea with a technical drawing. The InventHelp Databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Take advantage of the opportunity to get started today.
Call 1-800-211-1813. That's 1-800-211-1813. Again, 1-800-211-1813.
Draft. Young says he's grateful to the team for believing in him enough to make him the top pick.
I'm super grateful. That's something that I don't take lightly and don't take for granted. To believe in me is something that I'm forever going to be grateful for with this opportunity. And, I'm excited. I'm focused. I want to do everything that I can to take advantage of that opportunity and help contribute to the franchise. I was able to sit down with the front office, with everyone involved. And, it was very clear that they illustrated that, they've had a plan for a while, for years in place just to try to build the team.
He'll be taking over for the position that featured a carousel of starters last year with Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and P.J. Walker all getting time at quarterback.
I'm super grateful to have that vote of confidence. But for me, again, I want to take things day by day. Once we get there and I sit down and, once I know what the team goals are, I want to take it day by day and do everything I can to help us accomplish those team goals.
After the Panthers were done, the Houston Texans had the second and third overall picks after a trade with the Cardinals. They took Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud and then Alabama pass rusher Will Anderson Jr. The Colts took Florida quarterback Anthony Richardson with the number 4 pick. The fourth highest ranked QB, Will Levis of Kentucky, still waiting to be selected. The second round starts tonight. The Panthers have the 7th pick there, along with a third-round selection later on, and then 3 more picks on Saturday in the 4th and 5th rounds. On the ice, the Carolina Hurricanes have another chance to advance to the second round of the playoffs. They're in New York to face the Islanders for Game 6 of their series, needing just one more win. You're listening to NCN Sports.
Steel professional-grade battery-powered tools. Whether you're looking for the performance to take on residential and commercial landscaping or the power to get the job done in the forest or at the construction site, Steel has battery equipment built with pros in mind. From low noise operation to relentless performance, Steel Pro battery tools are built for you and built for work. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com.
Do you know a high school senior or recent graduate who wants to make a difference? A career in law enforcement may be a good fit, and the state of North Carolina wants to support them. Until April 30th, aspiring officers can apply to the Criminal Justice Fellows Program. The program provides a 100% forgivable loan for a 2-year degree in criminal justice if the recipient serves 4 years in law enforcement in North Carolina. These guardians can keep us safe, and we'll help them get their career started. Learn more at ncdoj.gov/CJ Fellows.
Major League Baseball final scores from Thursday. The Braves fell to the Marlins 5-4. The Nationals lost to the Mets 9-8. The Orioles got a 7-4 win over the Tigers. In the minor leagues, the Durham Bulls beat the Memphis Redbirds 2-1, and the Carolina Mudcats got a 7-1 win over the Kannapolis Cannonballers. Down east beat Fayetteville by a score of 5-2. Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Hickory, Greensboro, and Asheville all had their games rained out on Thursday. And in the NBA playoffs, the Boston Celtics are moving on. They eliminated the Atlanta Hawks with a 128-120 win on Thursday night. Tonight, the Warriors have a chance to advance. They host the Kings in Game 6 of their series, and the Lakers will host the Grizzlies. They lead the series 3-2. Rob Connett, NCN Sports.
You're listening to WCAB. I'm Kevin Pleasant here in the Blue Room taking a look at your weather forecast. You can expect today to be mostly cloudy with some showers and isolated storms and a high near 67. Wind gust up to 16 miles per hour. Chance of precipitation 60%. And overnight partly cloudy with scattered showers. Lows around 52. Chance of precipitation 60%. This has been your weather forecast. Keep it tuned in to 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, Rutherfordton.
Good morning, everyone. This is Alex and Camilla here with the Word of Faith Fellowship. We are so excited to share with you some things that God has been speaking to us. You know, today in the world, it's very troubled. And we can see in our nation, we can see in the world, the things that are happening. But we as Christians have to keep our hearts guarded. And that's what we want to talk about today, is guarding your heart. And what does it mean to guard your heart? You know, and really first I want to talk about what is our heart? What is our heart? And I was looking at a very simple definition here in the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and it talks about heart. And it says one's innermost character, feelings, or inclinations. And we so have to watch, you know, what does that mean? If we're guarding a heart, we're guarding our innermost character, we're guarding our feelings, we're guarding what we are inclined to. And God is very specific about it in the Bible. He wants our hearts to be right with him so that we can spend eternity with him in heaven. So in Proverbs 4:23, it talks about this very specifically. It says, keep and guard your heart with all vigilance, and above all that you guard, for out of it flow the springs of life. Now, it says to keep and guard with all vigilance and above all that we guard. You know, there's so many things that we guard. As far as, I mean, we guard our children, we guard our jewelry, a car, anything that we protect, you know. But do we guard our hearts? Do we go home and watch things on television, or do we let things in our hearts that are evil and from the devil, and it pollutes our hearts? And you know, and I really was thinking about this the other day. Camille and I were talking about this. Is, you know, the world today is so full of evil things that are happening, and it's all because people do not guard their hearts. They let things in their hearts that trouble them, and then they end up, I mean, we hear about shootings, we hear about wars, and we hear about robbery and all these things that are happening. It's simply because people do not know how to guard their hearts. And so that's what I want to talk about. We want to talk about today. Another scripture is in Joshua 23, and Joshua was talking to the people of Israel, and he was telling them before they were going in to conquer, and God was driving out the pagan peoples that were before them in the land. But Joshua was telling them to be very courageous. It says, be very courageous and steadfast to keep and do all that is written in the book of the law of Moses, turning not aside from it, either to the right hand or to the left. In other words, you better guard your heart from the evil that's in the land. It says, do not turn aside from the right hand or from the left. And that's so important for us to know and keep before us in our hearts. Is we have to keep our hearts, we have to know what God has said, what the morals are that God has spoken to us in our hearts, the convictions that God has put in our hearts, and we cannot compromise. And that's a big problem in the world today, especially in the church. People compromise. When God has set things in order, God has placed things in order in the Bible that we know as Christians, and then people begin to compromise, and they begin to let the devil take their hearts over. And so, you know, so we began to study different things in the Bible, different examples. And one main example we want to talk about today is King David. God called him a man after his own heart. So Camilla, if you could share with us a few things that, you know, where God was speaking to you about King David.
Yes. So a few months ago, I was laying in my bed, and that sentence came to my heart, a man after God's own heart. And I knew that God had called David a man after God's own heart. So God really put a desire in my heart to start studying about it. And I know our time is short here today, but there are so many scriptures. If you read about the life of David, you learn so much, because he really did have a heart after God. And I'm going to read some scriptures that explains and shows the heart of David. But the first one I want to read is in 1 Samuel 13. And that's when God rejected Saul. Saul was king over Israel, but he disobeyed God, so God rejected him. But God says, the Lord sought out for himself a man, David, after his own heart, and the Lord has appointed him as leader and ruler over his people, because Saul did not keep and obey what the Lord commanded him. And That's a key right there. I do not want to be like Saul, that God will reject me because I would not obey his commandments. And then in Acts 13 is referring to the same passage as in 1 Samuel. And he's talking about that God, after God removed Saul as king, he found David, a man after his own heart, conforming to his will and purposes, and who would do his will and carry out his program fully, the New Amplified says. And that is a real key for us, because if we are going to have a heart that's after God, that's going to have God's heart, we're going to carry out God's program fully. We're going to do his purpose, and we're going to do his will. And that's the cry that God has put in my heart and in Alex's heart, because we haven't arrived, but we cry out all the time for God to make our hearts after his heart. In 1 Kings 15, God was talking about King Jeroboam, and after he's talking about how he walked in the sins of his fathers before him, and his heart was not blameless with the Lord his God, as the heart of David, his forefather. Because David did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, God sought David and gave him the kingdom, because he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, and turned not aside from anything that he commanded him all the days of his life, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite, which I'm going to get ready to say about this. But it's talking about how that for David's sake, it's talking about for David's sake, the Lord kept his covenant with David, even though that his children many times did not keep God's covenant. But for David's sake, because he had a heart after God, God kept his covenant with him. And in Psalms 51, even though David missed it, and even though David gave to major sin, he gave to adultery and murder, but look at his heart. When the prophet of God came to him to really rebuke him, he said, I'm the man. And he came to God. And this is the prayer that David offered to God. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to your steadfast love, according to the multitude of your tender mercy and loving kindness, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly and repeatedly from my iniquity and guilt, and cleanse me and make me wholly pure from my sin. For I am conscious of my transgressions, and I acknowledge them. My sin is ever before me. Against you and you only have I sinned and done that which is evil in your sight, so that you are justified in your sentence and faultless in your judgment. Behold, you desire truth in the inner being. Make me therefore to know wisdom in my inmost heart. Purify me with hyssop, and I shall be clean ceremonially. Wash me, and I shall in reality be whiter than snow. Hide your face from my sins and blot out all my guilt and iniquities, creating me a clean heart. And that's the cry that we want to have in our hearts. When we sin against God, when we have some things in our hearts that are not from him, we want to cry out, creating me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right and persevering and steadfast spirit within me. Cast me not away from your presence. And that is the cry of my heart. And when I feel things, it can be little attitudes or agitation or worries or anxieties. I don't like that. God, I don't want that in my heart. Give me a heart like you. Clean my heart. Cast me not away from your presence, and take me not your Holy Spirit from me. My sacrifice, the sacrifice acceptable to God, is a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart, broken down with sorrow for sin, and humbly and thoroughly penitent. Such, O God, you will not despise. And that is the heart that David had, and that's the heart that we can have. It doesn't matter what pit we're in. It doesn't matter how dark you think your situation is. if we cry out to God, God will answer. And in Psalm 62, actually, David was exhorting us. He was saying about for us to trust in God and rely on him. And he's saying, you people, pour out your hearts before God. And that is the key for us to have a heart that's after him. We have got to pour our hearts before him with everything that we need, that we want God to change or God to do for us. We want to have a heart that seeks after God and that loves God and goes after him.
And really seeing how David's heart was, I mean, you can see in that psalm, you know, as he was crying out to God, I mean, he was searching after God, and that's all he wanted, you know. And there's a scripture in Psalms 101, and this is really, and you can see where God really did a work in David's heart, because when he gave to that sin, he committed, and even in that psalm it says, against you, O Lord, did I commit this sin, against you and you only. And he could see, yes, it was against those around him and those who he committed against, but it was against God. And so in Psalms 101, it talks about where you can see how God really changed his heart. And it says, I will behave myself wisely and give heed to the blameless way. Oh, when will you come to me? I will walk within my house in integrity and with a blameless heart. And then this is really key, and this is really important for all of us. You know, it says, I will set no base or wicked thing before my eyes. I hate the work of them who turn aside from the right path. It shall not grasp hold of me. And that's something that we really need to lay in all of our hearts and to know is that, you know, when there is sin around us, when there's things that are evil, not from God, you know, we have to set that decision in our hearts to say, I will not look at it. I will not set my heart upon that. You know, and that was a conviction that God had worked in his heart after he had forgiven his sin. It says, a perverse heart shall depart from me, and I will know no evil person or thing. And that's so important because so many times people get involved with friendships or relationships that are not, you know, bringing them closer to Jesus, and it actually brings them into destruction. And what happens when you have bad affiliations with other people that are not walking with God, it causes your heart to turn away from God. And that's what David could see here. He said, I will know no evil person or thing. And I mean, it is so important for us to know those things in our hearts, to have that conviction in our hearts that I do not want to pollute my temple, to pollute my heart. And it's not only that, but it separates us from God. When we give to sin and when we allow those things to pollute our hearts, it separates us from God, and then we no longer can have fellowship with God. I mean, that's why he created us, is so that we could have fellowship with him. And it's so important for us to know that in our hearts.
That's right. And another characteristic of David that I want to talk about is, and David went through a lot of battles. He went through a lot of adversities in his life. But there was a key that David always turned to God. In 1 Samuel 30, it's talking about one of the battles they were going through. And it says that David and the men with him lifted up their voices and wept until they had no more strength to weep. David was greatly distressed. But the key here is, he was greatly distressed. And many times we go through things in our lives. But what do people turn to? Sometimes people turn to alcohol. Sometimes people turn to drugs. Sometimes people turn to movies. Sometimes people turn to relationships to try to ease up that pain. But only God can ease up that pain. Only God can restore. Only God can help us go through anything. But David was greatly distressed. But it says, David encouraged and strengthened himself in the Lord his God. And he inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I pursue this troop? Shall I overtake them? The Lord answered him, Pursue, for you shall surely overtake them, and without fail recover all. And that's a key right there. David inquired of the Lord before he even went to battle. And God was with him. So I have an example actually that happened recently that God really convicted me of, because I had a situation that in the beginning of March, we had gone out of town and I had booked a hotel, and we decided to stay in another hotel. So I canceled that. Well, somehow there was a glitch in their system and they showed me as a no-show. So they charged me like $350 almost for a no-show. And I've been going through this battle for almost 2 months, back and forth, and have not gotten it solved. So one day, like last week, I was in my bathroom and I was like, God, please, you have got to help me with this situation. I start weeping. I said, God, you have got to intervene. I don't know what else to do. And God told me what to do. I called again, and there was a lady that God put on the phone, and she helped me, and I got a refund the same day after going through a battle of 2 months. And God convicted me because I should have cried out to him and inquired of him in the beginning of what to do, instead of when I couldn't do anything else, then cry out to him for his help. And God really convicted me because this is a key. David inquired of the Lord before he went to battle, not when he was already in trouble in the middle of battle and he saw something wasn't right and then he cried out to God. Yes, we do cry out to God in the middle of trouble, but it's the lifestyle of inquiring of God. God, what do we do? And God's going to show us.
And the scripture that really goes with that is in Isaiah 65. And it's really talking about where God is reaching out to us all the time. I mean, through whatever we're going through. But it says in verse 1, it says, I was ready to be inquired of those who asked not. I was ready to be found by those who sought me not. This is God speaking. I said, here I am. Here I am, says I am. To a nation, Israel, you can put your name, we can put the United States, we can put any place. A nation that has not called on my name. Verse 2, I have spread out my hands all the day long to a rebellious people who walk in a way that is not good, after their own thoughts. And it's so important. I mean, God is, just picture this. God is sitting there with his hand stretched out to you all day long. Will you cry out to me? Will you seek me? And we go through all of our torment and our turmoil, and we try, just like Camilla was sharing with the situation with the hotel. We go through all this turmoil, and the whole time God's sitting there with his arms open saying, here I am. And we don't want to be rebellious people. I mean, you can see David's relationship with God. I mean, he constantly, like she said, it was a lifestyle. He would turn to God in every situation. What do I do in this situation? Should I pursue the truth? Should I do this, Lord? And God answers people when we cry out to him. He answers. And so many people say, well, I don't hear God's voice. I don't get answers. Are we seeking him with humility? Are we seeking him with submission to God, knowing and with faith, knowing that, Jesus, I need help. Please help me. Deliver me from my enemies. Deliver me from the situation. And when we have that place in our hearts of submission to God, knowing that God is going to hear, he answers. And it happens over and over. And I know you had something else about David there.
Yes, life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though a host encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Because the devil always brings fear as a weapon.
That's right.
Like through COVID, and we've seen so many things lately. That fear is what grasps hold of people. But God does not want us to fear. God wants us to trust him. He says, though war arise against me, even then, in this will I be confident. One thing have I asked of the Lord, and that's my cry today. And it's been my cry that I will seek, inquire for, and insistently require that I may dwell in the house of the Lord and in his presence all the days of my life, to behold and gaze upon the beauty and the sweet attractiveness and the delightful loveliness of the Lord, and to meditate and consider and inquire in his temple. For in the day of trouble, he will hide me in his shelter. In the secret place of his tent, he will hide me. And that's a key right there. Many times people want to say, oh, God will protect me. But if you don't live in a lifestyle of seeking God like David did, that loved God, that sought God with everything, then yes, you can be assured that God will protect you when you're in trouble. But not if you live the way you want to live and then you want God to come protect you. It doesn't work that way. But in Psalms 23, also it talks about through the length of my days, the house of the Lord, and in his presence shall be my dwelling place. That's another passage about that. And in Psalms 89, I'm not going to probably have time to read the whole thing, but there's a covenant that God made with David. And it's so powerful. It says that he would not break his covenant with him, never. And it says he would swear by his holiness that he would never violate his covenant with David, that his mercy and his love and kindness would be with him forever. And you can think, I want that covenant that God make for me. But in Psalms 25 says that the secret and the sweet satisfying companionship of the Lord have they who fear him, revere and worship him. He will show them his covenant and reveal to them its deep inner meaning. So that means that I can have a covenant with God and you can have a covenant with God, that God will be with us. Great peace have they who love your law. Nothing shall offend them or make them stumble. And I want to leave you with my part with this, because you can be thinking, well, how can I have a heart after God? In James 4, it says, come close to God and he will come close to you. Recognize, how do you come close to God? First of all, recognize that you are sinners. Get your soiled hands clean. Realize that you have been disloyal, wavering individuals with divided interests, and purify your hearts of your spiritual adultery. As you draw near to God, be deeply penitent and grieve and even weep over your disloyalty. Let your laughter be turned to grief and your mirth to dejection and heartfelt shame for your sins. Humble yourself, that's a key, feeling very insignificant in the presence of the Lord, and he will exalt you. He will lift you up and make your life significant. There's another version that says, purify your unfaithful hearts, you double-minded people. When you want the world and you want God at the same time, that's a double-minded person. But it says that if we humble ourselves and we cry out to God, he will give us purpose. And that's what we want today. Amen. We want to humble ourselves and cry out to God, and he will give us a heart like him.
And in Ezekiel 11, this scripture is very close to our hearts, because, when God comes and begins to change our hearts, and as you begin to cry out to God and have a relationship with him, that's one thing that I remember as God was dealing with my heart. It was like, Jesus, change my heart. I want to have a new heart. And that comes from Ezekiel 11. It says, and I will give them one heart, a new heart, and I will put a new spirit within them. And I will take the stony, unnaturally hardened heart out of their flesh, and I will give them a heart of flesh. And it explains it in the Amplified Bible. It says, sensitive and responsive to the touch of their God. That's what we want in our hearts. We want a heart that is sensitive to Jesus, sensitive to his touch. So when we're in our lives every day and you're doing something, and God all of a sudden convicts you and says, that's not holiness. What do? Do we, it's okay, I've done this before, I'm fine. Or do we, God, that's right, forgive me, Lord, I want my heart to be right. That's what's going to change our hearts, is when God brings conviction to our hearts, or when God brings someone, a minister or someone else in your life that says, hey, this is wrong, or you could do better here. Do we submit to God and say, that's right? Or do we defend ourselves? We don't want to do that. We want to have hearts that are sensitive and responsive to God's touch. And it says that they may walk in my statutes and in my ordinances and do them. And they shall be my people, and I will be their God. That is that covenant like you were just talking about with King David, where it was a covenant that God made with him because his heart was after God. You see, God can make that same. How do we live our lives forward in this time and hour? So many things are going on. News, this, that, and the other. Are our hearts being troubled? Are our hearts, the devil wants to bring so many distractions with other things to where, for example, I've experienced in my own life. You read a news article, and all of a sudden you're like, this is so unjust. This is so wrong. And next thing you know, you're all worked up, and your heart is away from God. Those are the things we have to watch. So it says in Mark 4:24, it says, just as Jesus is teaching the disciples, and he's teaching us, it says, and he said to them, be careful to what you're listening and what you're hearing. The measure of thought and study that you give to the truth you hear will be the measure of virtue and knowledge that comes back to you, and that more besides. So we have to be aware of what we're listening to. What are we listening to? What are we giving our minds to? What are we, because it affects our hearts. In Luke 21:34, it says, but take heed to yourselves. We have to be watchful. Take heed to yourselves and be on your guard, lest your hearts be overburdened and depressed, weighed down with the giddiness and the headache and the nausea of self-indulgence, drunkenness, worldly worries. That's what we have to guard our hearts from, all these things that happen. Worldly worries and cares pertaining to the business of this life. And how do we do that? It's because we cry out to Jesus. We trust Jesus. Just like we were talking about King David. He turned to God in every circumstance. He turned to God when he was faced with war. He turned to God when he was faced with the decision he had to make for the nation. That's how we keep our hearts clean, where we don't have to have worry. We don't have to be overburdened. It says to be aware of this, because that day will come upon us suddenly like a trap or a noose. Jesus is coming back, and we have to have our hearts ready. It says, keep awake then and watch at all times. Be discreet, attentive, and ready, praying that you may have the full strength and ability to be counted worthy to escape all these things that are to take place. So as we leave here today, just think about these things in your heart. Just think about, God, what am I putting into my heart? That's right. We want to sow. And why do we want to do that? Is because we want to be ready for Jesus. We want to be ready for his return, because he is coming back, and he's looking for people who are spotless and that are seeking him, that have hearts after him. So as we leave you today, just think about these scriptures, and thank you so much for tuning in with us. We have our radio programs Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8:30 to 9, and we're so grateful you're able to tune in with us. And have a blessed day.
The music's on us on WCAB. The music's on us, WCAB.
Stay in touch with your tax dollars. Listen to the Commish Report and the School Board Report each month live here on WCAB. The reports are heard the following morning after the meetings. WCAB, keeping you informed as well as entertained.
From ABC News, I'm Derek Dennis. Tragedy for the U.S. Army. 2 Army helicopters crash in Alaska. 3 soldiers killed, a 4th injured in the wreckage. Overseas in Ukraine, new Russian missile strikes hitting civilian targets in Kyiv and in Uman.
President Zelensky tweeting another night of Russian terror. Now, most missiles were intercepted, but a residential apartment block in the central city of Uman was hit, killing more than a dozen people, including children.
ABC's Ian Pannell. In Washington, former Vice President Mike Pence went before a federal grand jury yesterday in the investigation over the January 6th insurrection and the role of former President Trump. Sources tell ABC News Pence spent several hours under questioning, no details released.
Special counsel Jack Smith clearly believes Pence is a critical witness, and the fact that Pence was before the grand jury for 5 hours confirms that. Pence's testimony came after months of negotiations with prosecutors and a failed legal effort by Trump to keep it from happening. The stakes are incredibly high.
ABC's Pierre Thomas. Meantime, no trial today. It resumes Monday over the civil charges of rape and defamation brought by writer E. Jean Carroll against former President Trump. ABC's Aaron Katersky is covering the trial.
E. Jean Carroll's cross-examination was at times uncomfortable, awkward, and tense. She faced question after question about her memory and her actions. Trump's attorney Joe Tacopina asked her why she waited more than 2 decades to come forward, and Carroll said she never intended to, but the Me Too movement convinced her that staying silent does not work.
Trump denies having the alleged encounter with Carroll. Severe weather today in parts of the country. Heavy rain moving into the northeast from the south. In the Florida Panhandle, at least one tornado touching down near Tallahassee. And in Texas, 2 boys nearly struck by lightning. Meantime, forecasters are also watching the threat of historic flooding in the mid and upper Midwest thanks to the rapidly melting snowpack. You're listening to ABC News.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right, but right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Flying the unfriendly skies, complaints against airlines soared to record highs with more than 80,000 complaints logged in 2022. According to the Bureau of Transportation Statistics, that's nearly 5 times higher than before the pandemic. Top grievances were canceled flights and lost luggage. Frontier Airlines got the most complaints, followed by Spirit Airlines and JetBlue, where a spokesman says its delays and cancellations last year stemmed from operations in many of the nation's busiest routes. A Michigan 7th grader takes the wheel and saves a school bus full of his classmates in Warren, north of Detroit. Officials say the driver of Dylan Reeves' bus lost consciousness while the vehicle was in motion. ABC's Rhiannon Alley reports Dylan recognized something was wrong and managed to stop the bus.
Police and fire officials were on the scene quickly and treated the driver. When officials began notifying parents about what happened, Dylan's dad thought his son had gotten into trouble.
A police officer called me, and my first response was, "What the heck did he do?" And they're like, no, this is a good call. I'm like, oh. He goes, "Your son's a hero."
Dylan's mom said someone even decorated their yard to thank Dylan for his quick thinking, and local police expect to present him with an award.
Many are calling the boy a hero. The chairman of the BBC network has resigned after it was revealed he helped arrange a loan for then Prime Minister Boris Johnson. This is ABC News.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
I'm Derek Dennis, ABC.
I'm a doctor, but I can't think clearly anymore, so I can't do my job.
Long COVID causes debilitating cognitive issues.
Long COVID causes crippling fatigue that may last a lifetime.
I've lost friendships because of long COVID. I just don't feel well enough to see people.
People may look outwardly healthy, but they're suffering from a physical disorder that can upend lives. Up to 30% of COVID patients develop long COVID, and right now, there's no cure and little understanding.
I can't focus, I can't think straight, I can't keep a job.
So for those suffering daily, there's just one urgent question.
How long?
How long? How long?
Until we solve long COVID. The Solve Long COVID initiative is bringing together patients, researchers, doctors, and drug developers to find answers now. To learn more and see how you can help, go to solvelongcovid.org.
From ABC Sports, this is Rich Cantu. The spectacle that is the NFL draft kicked off last night with the first overall pick. The Carolina Panthers selected Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, who's taking it in stride.
As amazing as the moment this is, I'm going to try to live in this moment. I can't wait to get to work and start building off of it.
The Texans, up next, selected Ohio State QB C.J. Stroud. They then traded up for the third overall pick, taking Alabama linebacker Will Anderson Jr. The Colts took Florida quarterback Anthony Richardson at 4. Illinois cornerback Devin Witherspoon went to the Seahawks at 5. In the NBA playoffs, the Hawks looked to force a decisive Game 7 hosting the Celtics. Jason Tatum wasn't having any.
Tatum going to have to go, pulls back on Collins and rips home a 3.
The call on 98.5, the Sports Hub. Tatum had 30 points. Jaylen Brown added 32, and the Celtics advanced 128-120. They're headed to the Eastern semis, where they'll meet the 76ers. This is ABC Sports. Stanley Cup playoffs, the Golden Knights advanced to the second round thanks to 2 goals from Chandler Stevenson.
Eichel, quick stick in front, score! Stone to Stevenson, power play goal, 4-0 Vegas.
Our thanks to KKGK. Vegas beats the Jets 4-1 to take the series in 5 games. The Lightning beat the Maple Leafs to stay alive in their series. The Devils shut out the Rangers to take a 3-2 series lead. More from the NFL draft. Multiple trades made in the top 10, including the Cardinals shuffling their pick twice.
We have another trade. The Arizona Cardinals have moved up to 6. So to recap, Arizona started the night at 3, traded to 12, and now is traded back up to 6 while getting an extra 1 next year from Houston.
ESPN's Adam Schefter. The Cardinals selected tackle Paris Johnson Jr. at 6. The reigning NFC champion Eagles also made moves in the top 10, swapping picks 9 and 10 with the Bears to take defensive tackle Jalen Carter. The Bears would follow with Tennessee offensive tackle Darnell Wright at 10. Experts expected more quarterbacks to go in the first round last night, including Will Levis and Hendon Hooker.
To me, that was certainly the headline. I thought we would have seen at least 4 in all. I thought we'd see 5. So Hendon Hooker and Will Levis, more to come. 2 productive SEC quarterbacks that are still available.
ESPN NFL front office analyst Mike Tannenbaum. This is Rich Cantu, ABC Sports.
You're listening to WCAB. I'm Kevin Pleasant here in the Blue Room taking a look at your weather forecast. You can expect today to be mostly cloudy with some showers and isolated storms and a high near 67. Wind gust up to 16 miles per hour. Chance of precipitation 60%. And overnight, partly cloudy with scattered showers. Lows around 52. Chance of precipitation 60%. This has been your weather forecast. Keep it tuned in to 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, Rutherfordton.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update.
Marlins score 5 in the 9th and stun the Braves in the series finale.
The 2023 Braves promotional calendar features a variety of exciting gate giveaways. To see the full schedule, head to Braves.com/promos.
Thursday at a rainy Truist Park, the Braves dropped the finale of their 4-game set to the Marlins by a score of 5-4. These two teams would endure a 3-hour and 1-minute rain delay, and when things resumed, the Braves would score 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th on a bases-loaded walk to Kevin Pillar, RBI single from Chadwick Tromp, and fielder's choices from Ronald Acuna Jr. and Matt Olson.
Swung on, hit into left field. That's a base hit. That scores Grissom. Being held at third is Rosario. The throw comes in. Bases still loaded. An RBI single for Chadwick Tromp.
But the Marlins would not go away in the top of the ninth against A.J. Minter, who would give up all 5 runs on an RBI single to Yuli Gurriel. Base hits from Avisail Garcia and Jazz Chisholm, and the big blow, a 2-run double that gave the Marlins the lead off the bat of Garrett Cooper. Braves will now hit the road for a 7-game trip that starts tonight in Game 1 against the Mets with Max Fried on the mound. And as always, hear all the action live from Citi Field right here on the Braves Radio Network. First pitch of Game 1 is set for 7:10 Eastern. I'm Kevin McAlpin, and this has been your Braves Radio Network Morning Update.
We all sometimes need a towing service. Bad weather, or you just get stuck on the side of the road with a flat tire, or even worse. Call on Tri-City Towing Services of Daryl Burnett. Towing services for big trucks as well as cars and SUVs. He has a rollback service to get you safely to a garage. With years of experience, you're in good hands with Tri-City Towing. Put this number in your phone, 828-305-7707. That's 305-7707. Have it handy when you need it. Remember the name, Tri-City Towing, 1101 West Main Street in Forest City.
The music's on us on Friday on WCAB.
Closer to you, get closer to me.